We arrived in Cherbourg, coming from all throughout the North Coast region, from Bundy in the north to Deception Bay in the south, and all in between. We're a group of education leaders within schools, regions and central office, coming to participate in the North Coast region's educational sleepout. Some of us were a bit apprehensive, unsure of what to expect.
Sal, nice to finally meet you. Seriously.
Arriving at the Ration Shed Museum, many of our anxieties disappeared as we met with fellow participants and got a feel for the warm, welcoming space at the Cherbourg Historical Precinct.
Yeah, I'm a little bit anxious, I guess. I haven't been here before. I'm a little bit aware of some of the history, but not a lot. So that's one of the reasons that I've really wanted to come.
Obviously, we've all got our own emotional feelings as far as Cherbourg's concerned. Mine are pretty deep.
It is a big ask, but I think it'll be a great experience. So just to connect, I guess, with where people are from and what their stories are.
I've been here once before for a visit, but it'll be great just to spend the night and hear everyone's stories and get a better connection with the community.
As I call your name, you will come and line up here. That all clear?
Yes, sir.
Joe Williams. Paul Williamson. Miles Coverdale.
Proceedings began with us reenacting the daily morning roll call in front of the office, which for decade after decade the camp superintendents conducted every morning. All the Cherbourg men were obliged to attend under the pain of imprisonment.
The superintendent, but he was over there standing. And now our fellas, we're all here. Our old people, we're all here, standing here.
Here though, the superintendent was Cherbourg's mayor, Uncle Arnie Murray. He welcomed us to Waka Waka country, both in his official capacity and as a traditional owner.
Welcome, New Zealand, on behalf of my elders, past and present. Welcome you. Hope you enjoy what you see this afternoon.
We then entered the ration shed itself, where we met with Auntie Ada Simpson, who gave us a tour of the museum.
The rations only would have lasted, say, for about till up about Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By then, your rations, like mainly the tea and sugar, because that was our staple diet, and flour, that ran out by Thursday. When we get schools through, that's one of the activities that we do with schools when we get them through. And we'll either do measuring, that's with the younger ones, and then with the older ones we do sheets, so that they could interact with the timeline. So that way we know that it's sticking in there all what we've told them and shown them on the film as well. And this is the shed, you know.
The aim of our gathering, in the words of the organisers, was to give us an immersive experience of what life was like living under the Aboriginal Protection Act. And it was indeed an honour to move about these spaces where so many Aboriginal men, women and children live their lives, under the thumb of the officials and a government policy determined to keep people in servitude.
So if the mother was in the mother's dormitory, she couldn't talk to her children on either side. She had to get permission to visit with their children. And there was
walking through the old boys' dormitory took many of us back in time, to our own childhoods, to reflect on how we were brought up, while children of our age were taken from their families and brought here. Dinner in the ration shed. It's time to relax, to talk with our fellow educators, to think, to ask questions. We're here to listen and to learn, but also to laugh and to grow and to feel the richness of this place. After dinner, we went back across to the boys' dormitory, where a group of Cherbourg elders took the time to yarn with us.
My mother took sick, and Sandra and I had to look after our 8 brothers and sisters. We lived on rations. I went only a grade 4 level of education. I was sent out to work. I had my life around education. I went and did a course at the City Hall, and the course I did was early childhood, and that's how I come to get involved with kindergarten for 34 years. And our children, they're the main thing. That's why anybody here is involved with education, push for us to get playgroup going. We've got to start from playgroup, babies, and bring them up. That's the only way we're going to get to our people.
We have come to Cherbourg to explore ways of further embedding Indigenous perspectives and practices in our schools, in the curriculum, and within the broader community. The key to this, we realised, is engagement. Engagement with our local Indigenous communities, and above all, to listen to the elders.
Yourselves and the power that you have within your hearts and in your mind and in your control in the schools. But as principals today, it's your job and your opportunity to make changes. Do what you can to give our people that opportunity to be that. Be an Aboriginal in your white school, in the school where you are. Be given that opportunity to go from where he is to the next level.
Listening to the Cherbourg elders talk was very moving and humbling for us all. It gave us a strong sense, not only of the pain and suffering endured over so many years, but of the resilience and hope, and the humour that have carried the people forward.
The male species, if you feel someone tugging on your blanket.
You women are right.
Talk of jungeries and things that creeped in the night. It was time for bed. It was winter and we were told that it can get extremely cold in Cherbourg. We brought in our swags and made ready for the night.
That's why I put mine on the carpet.
Oh, look at it go. There we are. Good at arm wrestling.
White cockatoo, sing the love song. The cold and hot, arms and chill. The possum dancer in the shadow.
As we settled down, we couldn't but be aware of this building and what had happened here over all those years. Many of us lay thinking of those young boys alone without their families, the hard wooden floors, the overcrowded spaces, the harsh impersonal discipline. Others stayed connected to their worlds in ways unimaginable in those earlier days. In the morning, we woke to billy tea and damper. The night was surprisingly not too cold, and we mostly all had comfortable sleeps. Nobody reported any jungery in the dark. But the morning was also a time to reflect and connect to who we are, what we believe about ourselves and about others, about what it is to be an educator, to think about the children in our schools and about the different histories of the people of this land.
I'm feeling quite good this morning, but I think the overwhelming emotion I have is one of connectedness. And I was thinking of the timeline over there and those comments about the only way to preserve the race is to keep it completely separate, and then the comments from elders and on that timeline. And really we're all connected, and I think this circle is quite symbolic of that. And just listening to people and the people that I've met here that I've not met before, the connections that we have. Sitting around the campfire last night was just beautiful, listening to people singing. And I think that campfire, and it's a yarning circle of its own. Those stories just connect us all together really well.
I'm really thinking about what it means to be Australian. And I'm really thinking what it means to live in poverty. And I'm wondering that the dormitories may have disappeared and the permits may have disappeared, but for the Indigenous students that I work with, has the disconnect and the entrapment around some of their situations disappeared. The really positive feeling I have is when Auntie Sandra said, it made me feel good. And I thought, that is the feeling I'm going to take away, and I'm going to work with children who are in poverty, who are disengaged and disconnected. And I want that feeling, because we all have the struggles and our kids have struggles, but if I can get them to feel good, then that's where I'm aiming.
I've been avoiding coming back to this region because this is my country. It's where I was born. It's where my mother was born. It's where my grandparents were removed to back in 1911. So to move through this country is extremely emotional. Just when you think you're tough in your old age, it's not working. I know, I think I've been called back home now for a reason. Because I've seen the hard yards for our young people. I've seen the hard yards for our school staff as well. But I hope with the events like this, it makes a difference and you go back and make a change. Not just for our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids, but for all kids.
The reflection sitting here is really about our expectations. And our expectation quite often as principals is that community comes to us. And you know what? Sitting inside this fence, you can see why people hate the inside of the bloody fence. So we as educators need to take a step outside and go outside the gate more often. And that's about us going into community, because that's what works. When you can feel that you're part of the community, people will trust you and trust that you want what's best for their kids too. So that's probably where I come from.
I was so damn angry and so ashamed.
I was thinking before when Sally was talking about the pedagogies of this learning circle. I know lots of teachers who have used it in their classroom as a space in the morning, and as you can see in the space, it's very reflective. It gives everyone the opportunity to say what they need to say before the start of the day, so it's a great process for young kids as well to have that say before they actually start to, before you start the day.
There's this wealth of experience and goodwill and intent that's in this room today. How do we translate what we have experienced in this last less than 24 hours? How do you now go out and motivate and bring along other people in your schools to feel what you've felt here? And the first step is those relationships. The strength of what you do will be the strength of your community engagement. And as you said, Mon, stepping outside the gate, you've stepped outside your gate today to come here to learn, and you've all reflected of how gracious the elders have been and the trust that they've shared in sharing their story, because you've stepped outside your gate.
Feeling safe in the yarning circle, hearing what others say, speaking your mind, letting the feelings talk as much as the ideas. Realisations, epiphanies, small thoughts and big ideas. All of us open to fresh thinking and new approaches to the way we do things in our schools. We all agreed that the journey ahead must be with our parents, carers and community, together, guiding us, doing whatever it takes. The Sleepout, hosted by the Ration Shed Museum, took us out of our comfort zones, but in doing so opened new doors for us, helping us find renewed confidence and well-being in ourselves as human beings, as educators, leaders and carers of the new generation of Australians. It's allowed me to see the weaknesses, things that I need to build upon, to get every kid through school.